Welcome to today's, or this week's, I should say, Connecting Christ video devotion. I have to just say congratulations to everyone. Congratulations, folks. We've made it all the way through the Old Testament. And now we get to talk about the good stuff. Now, I'm not trying to say that the Old Testament was bad stuff or anything like that. Don't take it that way. It's all good stuff. But really, right now, we get to talk about Jesus. We get to read the words of Jesus and what his very lips are speaking to us today. How exciting that is. How exciting that is. I am just thrilled that we get to talk with Jesus. I have to take a breath a few times because, my excitement level is about here. And it's just because we get to talk about Jesus, the only guy that you need to know about for anything in life, because he's saved you from everything. So let's talk about Jesus. We're in Matthew chapter 5. We begin the Sermon on the Mount, and it begins with the Beatitudes. We all know those blesseds. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. All the way down to blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice and be glad, for so they persecuted the prophets that we just got through because who were before you. But we're not going to dwell on these Beatitudes because they impact us each and every day. But we're going to look more towards the end of chapter 5 and beginning at verse 43 and finishing up with 48. And Jesus says, "You have heard it said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? You, therefore," and I think this is probably this is the verse that we're going to key in on right here in verse 48. "You, therefore, must be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect." I want to think about perfection, the challenge that presents. Because obviously we all know that nobody is perfect. No one but Jesus was perfect. And this is challenging because, challenging in a couple of ways. One, because when we look at this statement from Jesus himself, we feel the weight of and our own inability of being able to do that. We cannot be perfect. In no way, shape, or form am I perfect. And I imagine that you feel the same way as well. I mean, we can try and live our best life, but that's by no means perfect. But in a different way, it's challenging for us because often when we hear this demand, this statement, this command from Jesus, we turn it into a demand for other people. They must be perfect. I must be perfect, so you must be perfect also. And this doesn't mean that we should go in against being accountable or holding people accountable, holding people to a higher standard of living. But rather, it turns into a demand, almost so much so that we demand, in our demand of perfection from somebody else or of somebody else, we are creating in ourselves an idol, or we create in ourselves an idol to which they have to bow the knee to. And this is a challenging verse. Be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. We are only perfected through the Son and what he has done through us. And this challenge to live by day in and day out, knowing that, we're not going to make it all the time. We're not going to make it. We're not going to be perfect. And neither should we necessarily demand that completely without grace. I mean, Jesus knows that we're not perfect. And yet, he calls us to follow him and live as such, live as he would. Think about the way he lived his life and follow him in every way from that. So we're going to continue to talk about Jesus, and I can't wait to dive in through these next few weeks with you all. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. God's blessings on the rest of your day, everyone.